the key bridgehead that Russian forces fought for an entire year to take, now may not even hold out for a month. It's on the brink of a total collapse at any moment. This is by no means an exaggeration. The Ukrainian army's mechanized assault has already successfully cut off the Russian supply lifeline. This stunning reversal, how exactly did it play out in the Kremlin-Lyman direction? Let's shift our focus to the battlefield. Take a look at the major counteroffensive launched by the Ukrainian Third Corps. This Russian bridgehead mainly relied on a narrow northern river for support, but its logistics were constantly hit hard by Ukrainian artillery and drones. On top of that, moving heavy armor across the river was extremely difficult, and Russian artillery support was further crippled by relentless Ukrainian counter-battery fire. Ukraine's general staff keenly identified this fatal weakness, planning a carefully executed strike straight at the heart of the position. According to the plan, Ukrainian armored units launched a raid from the northern road network, taking advantage of Russian defenses still being unprepared, rapidly driving their motorcade through the outskirts of the villages, then stealthily maneuvering through the forest area, quietly deploying troops deep inside the central woods. The whole operation was covered by artillery and reconnaissance drones. When we pull up the terrain map, it becomes clear. This area is the true high ground of the entire bridgehead. Once Ukrainians established a foothold here, they could fire in all directions, and even directly choke off the main Russian logistics artery feeding the bridgehead. This move really was a devastating blow. Russian forces west of the river suddenly found themselves on the defensive, forced to rely on drone drop supplies just to hang on. But this is where the harshest contest began. The Ukrainian Third Corps has the army's top-tier anti-drone and electronic warfare units. Based on footage released by the Russians themselves, the Ukrainian wheeled armor columns simply stormed through during this assault. At first, Russian forces tried to intercept with conventional drones, but they slammed into Ukraine's powerful jamming network, rendering them almost useless. The B-1 Russian drone operators had to switch to fiber optic drones immune to jamming, but those take way too long to deploy and prepare. This critical time gap let the Ukrainian armored force push forward by a full 3 to 5 kilometers. By the time Russian drones arrived, one particular scene stood out. A Russian drone finally hit an armored vehicle, but it had already dropped off the infantry safely and was heading back. Follow-up footage confirmed. Ukrainian infantry used the woods as cover and successfully set up a solid tactical position in the contested zone. Though for security reasons, the Ukrainian side didn't issue a battle report, Russian military bloggers have already confirmed Ukrainians seized the key supply line threatening area. Now, the bridgehead's supply crisis is rapidly escalating. Soon, Russian frontline troops will be forced to choose between retreating across the river or a doomed last stand. A very tough choice indeed. Interestingly enough, the official Russian battle report claimed they eliminated 80 Ukrainian soldiers in half an hour and destroyed large amounts of Western equipment. But frontline hardline bloggers quickly exposed that the footage used to prove a successful defense was actually spliced together from videos over a year old. This huge gap between official propaganda and the battlefield reality has even Russian military analysts admitting that the front is under severe pressure. Reviewing the entire battle, Ukraine's tactical maneuvering was executed perfectly, making the most of favorable terrain and overwhelming electronic warfare, catching Russian forces completely off guard. Despite Ukrainian losses during the assault, they fully exploited the sluggish Russian response, completely strangling the bridgehead's logistics network. With Ukraine's relentless attacks and the nearly broken supply lines, the Russian-held position they've struggled so hard to maintain now faces an uncertain fate.